you see right now, we're actually just kind of approaching the starting line and about to get it in. So hopefully you guys will appreciate and like this. And again, I'm giving you this review from my perspective. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below, as this could possibly be something for the very soon videos for time to come. So right now we're just kind of moseying up on the start. Guys are getting in position and coming up on Danny, and Mike is just passing me right now because he sees that there's a little bit of a gap as we are pretty much about to start the ride. So I come up behind Danny. I'm gonna ride this because I know he's a strong rider. So I'm just sitting on his wheel right now, letting him do some of the work, pull me up, eating off his plate, and he's gonna get me closer. So you see me just to the left of him a little bit because of the wind. You see the SDBC guy come over the top of me on my left. We are on the shoulder of the road on the Silver Strand. So we're going north, passing the guy on the right. Again, Danny's doing good work. He is a strong rider. So I'm just riding his wheel, passing a couple guys. We just passed John B. So we're making our way up the road. He's going to get me pretty close to connecting with the group. And again, I'm just drafting his wheel. Again, as you can see, I'm sitting to his left, just kind of drafting, and now I have to go. I got to make the connection. So I'm making my way up so that I can meet up with the other group. So you see Mark just came over the top of me. And I just, again, stay on with him. I think I may have sprinted a little bit. You can see I'm coming up on the overall group pretty fast. Fast Freddy just signaled for the guys coming up to go ahead and rotate through. I jump on his wheel to get in a good rotation, to give myself a chance to do a quick recovery since I'm on his wheel. You see Larry rolling through. You see Enrique rolling through, saying hi to Freddie. You see Julius right there in the Solo Moto kit. You got John rolling through. You got Ron Tello, and then the bigger guy with the Rafa bibs and navy blue shirt. I jump on his wheel because he's a bigger rider. And again, being a big guy myself, it just is a lot easier for me to draft people. So you see we're here taking the slow lane of traffic because cones on the shoulder. So we just jump out there just for safety reasons. We don't want anybody to run into any cones, and trying to prevent crashes the best we can. Of course, we check for traffic to make sure that it's safe for all of us. So right now, just drafting the big guy, and you see there Ron ahead of him, and then you see guys moving. You see some guys from the CCC Donut Ride that we're passing on the right. They're on our right. We're passing them on the left, and we're just making our way up. So we got about 20 minutes of this. This is the full video review, so please just hunker in and bear in, and if you want to fast forward it, you can to the sprint, which is probably the last 5 minutes or the last 3 minutes of this video. But right now we're just making our way up the Strand. You see Mike there with the beautiful pink helmet, the Paddock Racing Black Panther kit. You see Jeffrey right there with the Flow Host kit on. So we're just working our way up. Right now we are in a pace line, and everybody's just taking their turn up front, pulling and doing what we do. Right there on the right is Larry Tanzo, also in the Flow Host kit. In front of him is Enrique. We see a lot of rods in Strava that are LTET. That combo right there is deadly. They do a lot of mountain biking, and they're just some beasts. You see right here, we're going around some more road wear. We went around that, and a lot of times that causes to be dangerous for us because it kind of, no one relays the word back, but at the same time, some people jump on the inside of those, but we made it through safely. Right here, they're doing road work because there's a military base on the left-hand side of this road that they are opening up lanes for the future construction of that base. That's where I work. So continuing on, still drafting. There's going to be a whole lot of drafting going on because that is a major part of the culture. You got to draft, conserve energy, stay out of the wind so that you can, be there at the end. There's John right there, easy spinning as you saw as we're passing him because he just got through pulling. So he's now in the recovery phase. He's going to jump on the back and pretty much get ready for his next turn pulling or for any moves that happens. And that's pretty much what happens while we're out on these training rods. This is a very fast pace. We went about 33 miles an hour on this rod, and then we have a sprint at the end. On the right, you see there Mark in the new Paddock Racing Team Black Panther skin suit riding the Specialized LA Sprint Comp behind the guy in the Pactimo SDBC kit. All right, so Ron just pulled. He's pulling back. He's in his Barcata kit, and now I'm behind the guy with the Rafa bibs. So now I'm up to the front, as you can see, and it is your boy C-Dub's turn to take a pull. That's what I do. As you see, I just moved over to the right a little bit, and you will see here soon on my left the next man up, which is Steve Landry. He went to, I think, Nationals as a velodrome racer. Very strong rider. I think he's just now getting back in the actual roll bike saddle. So, it takes a little bit of transition because they are two different cultures. Moving on, you see the pace line moving up on my left. And that's just what happens. We fall to the back. After you pull, you fall to the back, you jump on the back, and you rotate up. So it's kind of like a little circle that we're making while riding. And soon you'll start to see that break start happening. There's Danny again. This is his first on the left right there. Danny's, this is his first donut ride that he's ever done. So I believe it was a great experience for him. I told him to jump in there with the A group, and if he can't hang on, then fall back to B group because they're coming. So see, right now I'm real close to Steve because the tempo is going to vary. Every rider has different strengths and weaknesses. You see I'm right now over to the right hand side just because of the acceleration or the amount of effort that we just put in to the pedals. It caused me to get really close to him, so I just went to the right so we wouldn't crash. There are stoplights on the strand, and we're coming up to one now. So you saw the tempo really slowed down a lot. Sometimes that allows for some of us to get in different positions, to jump back on wheels like you saw I just did. I jumped on, the Rafa bib short guy again because he's a bigger rider, and it just helps me to be able to draft a little bit longer. But the stoplights typically mess up, as I say, our mojo. We get going really good, going really fast, and then we come to a red light, and of course, to abide by the laws, we stop. Slow down, hoping that it will turn green so we can keep going. You saw the guy in the bibs, he pulled over to the right. What I did was I just held my spot, didn't move up or anything because I had a feeling he was going to jump back in, as you just saw. You got Dave right there in the white PRT kit. Again, you got Mike right there on the right-hand side. So he came up, so the guy in the black bibs, he went out to the right to, I think, spit or do something. He had a snot rocket or something. He pulled over to the right, took care of that, and he jumped right back in. And when that happened, I jumped right back on his wheel to continue drafting. So now you see tempo's picking up. You see how I came over the guy's wheel again because, again, tempos consistently change with whoever's up front pulling. You see guys hunkering down now, and that means that tempo is picking up. We're going faster, and there's work being put in. So again, I'm third wheel right now. Mark just pulled, he's rotating back. Enrique just pulled, now he's rotating back. And now we got two riders on the right-hand side, which is not a part of our group. So of course we let them know, hey, there's riders on the right, so we can all pass them safely. Ron just got done pulling, he pulls over to the right, and that's just the group riding cycling etiquette, especially when you're going at a high tempo or fast-paced ride like this. You try to follow the rules of the group and the rules of cycling. So that's what happened here. So again, I pulled to the right, and then Steve comes over the top, pulls to the right, and we just keep it going. LT's up front pulling. This dude goes easily 32 miles an hour like it's nothing, like it's butter. So you see tempos rising again. You see a little bit of gaps making there in front of Alex with the red jersey on. Gaps are opening up. Gaps are no good. So because again, people, everybody drafting is working pretty much 30% easier than the person in front of them. So you can just kind of do the math yourself. So the further back you are, the easier it is for you, but yet you will get your chance up front working harder than everybody else. So right now I'm on Dave's wheel. Again, I'm sitting to the right. The wind normally is blowing from the left because there is the Coronado Beach to the left of us. And again, you see this big old gap left open. So I have to start working to close it because I easily was able to pass these guys just because maybe the tempo or maybe they just got done pulling and they were probably tired. I get it. I've been there. My fitness is going up and I'm very appreciative of Pat Yacht Racing Team. I'm very appreciative of different people that have helped me out. So you see I've come up, I'm up on Mark. I could have jumped on his wheel, but again, at my pace, it carried me past him, so I just kept it moving. I took the inside and just kept it moving as he's falling back. And then you see I'm moving side to side. That means I'm out of the saddle trying to jump on the rear wheel of the group up ahead. Back in the saddle now, so not much wiggle on the camera. So I'm working. I believe from the rear footage, Mike is coming up on my rear. Mike is coming up, and what he's going to do, he's going to help me out. So here's Mike right here. He's coming up on the rear, and what do? Jump on his wheel. So we're getting it in. He's you can see in his calves that he's putting down some watts. And there's Jeffrey, there's Mike, or excuse me, there's Mark. So you got this second group. There's Ron. They're coming. So what do? Heart rates were up. It was hard. So as you see now, Mike is really putting some pressure, some weight, some power down on those pedals. And I just stay on his wheel. You know, I could have easily jumped over and jumped on Ron Tello's wheel, but you know, Mike was working. So I said, I'm gonna just stay right here. So now you see this group right here where we have Jeffrey up front pulling, you have Mark second, Ron third, Mike, and then myself. So you can see Jeffrey, he was working really, really hard and he's closing this gap down. I actually yelled up for Mark to pull through so that Jeffrey could get a break, but Jeffrey closed it. So kudos on Jeffrey, specifically Strava, kudos to you, buddy. That was an awesome effort. Thank you for the ride. So as you see here, we're all bunched back up again, which means even in racing, it's the same thing. When the person's up front doesn't want to pull anymore, they pull out to the right. People that are behind them don't want to pull either. So what happens is you have this natural effect of a bunch up, meaning everybody bunches up because nobody wants to be in front pulling. Nobody wants to work, let's be honest. So the bunch up happened really quickly, but somebody pulled through. I think it was Freddie. I think Freddie took the bullet, and you see Ron. I think Ron is on his. I'm on Ron's wheel now with the black and gold jersey with the black, gold, and red bibs from Zoka. So I'm on Ron's wheel, and we're pulling forward. I believe he's on Freddie's wheel, and we're moving. And we're just making way up the road. I believe there was a breakaway. Okay, there's Mark right there. So I believe there's a breakaway up the road, and I believe it was Larry, because this dude is strong. There's Larry right there. Yeah, so I think the breakaway was Mark. I think it was Mark and Larry, yeah. So right now, as I'm up the pool again, so this is my third time pulling, which is fine. It's just what we do. So yeah, Mark and Larry, I think, took this breakaway because Mark and Larry both are very strong riders. And there's Jeffrey right there pulling through. He's got his GoPro camera on the back, getting those pain faces. And now Mike's up front pulling, and then you see here's another gap. So right where I am and where that group is, there's a gap. So Freddie, he easily closes that down because he's strong. And then Mark comes with a little gap in front of him, and he's coming behind Freddie. And you see I come out the saddle to sprint to close down the gap that was in front of me, because again, if there's a gap in front of me, I'm working just as hard as the guy up front working, because we're both dealing with wind resistance. So right now there's another gap. We're all kind of scattering out a little bit. People are getting tired, not working as hard, as long, and it just comes with nature. We're human, so we can't go 100% the whole time. You may have saw Mark right there just flipped his elbow. I didn't see it the first time, but he does it again. So he flipped his elbow, and what that means is your turn. That's what it means. Your turn to pull, your turn to work. So he flipped his elbow. So here I go pull again the fourth time, and then there goes Mike hitting it, and you got Jules on his wheel. Jules, where you been? I don't know where that guy's been, but Jules is on his wheel. He's working now. He's up front, followed by, I think that's Dave. I think that's Dave right there. I can't, or it's Larry. I can't shoot. That's Larry. So Larry LT was on Jules's wheel, and now Freddie's back up in front again. I'm on Freddie's wheel. So now what do I do again? I'm up pulling the fifth time. So this is pretty amazing even to me as I do this commentary for the first time, that I don't think I've ever pulled this many times at Donut Ride. And there's Mark with LT on his wheel, and we're coming up to another light. That's going to be NAB Coronado on our right and left. So you see here, we're kind of opened up a little bit. I'm falling back so I can jump on the rear since I just pulled. Jump back on. And of course, sometime when we get in these areas, we slow down a little bit because there are traffic lights. So as I mentioned before, we do abide by the street laws. So right now we're coming up to a light, and as you see there, the light is red, and we're just coming up on the shoulder, which I believe this is actually the turning lane, but we take the road because it's safer for us, and the light turned green, and so now we're about to hit it again. So you see here, everybody's shuffling, you know, find what wheel we're going to jump on, what we're going to do, but we slow down, which again, as I said before, lights mess with our mojo, so you know, we got to get back in the saddle, we got to get back to hitting it hard, and go from there. So right now I'm on Julius's wheel. Julius is a very strong rider. He's just a small guy. He's smaller than me. You know, I weigh 220 plus pounds. He's probably teetering 180, 160, whatever. But he's smaller than I am. So what happens is I'm not able to get as much of a draft off of him because he's a smaller rider. So that's why earlier you saw me going to getting on the big guy's wheel because he provided more blockage from the wind so that I can work not as hard. So now we're coming up, pretty much we're getting very, very near to our pull-off where we go off of the Strand onto, I believe it's called Orange Ave. I believe that's what it's called, I'm not 100% sure. But you see we're going through these lights because they are green, and probably here in a few more seconds, we'll be veering to the right. So you see here, Julius is very strong. So I think he has a gap in front of him, and he's just pushing. Yeah, so there's a little gap in front of him, and he pulls over to the right, but he doesn't flick his elbow, so I just cruise. Like, I'm passing him, but I'm just cruising. But at the same time, I realize that if I'm in front of him or if I'm out in the wind, I'm working hard. So I close this gap, I pull up on, I believe that's Larry, LT up front, then it's Freddie, and then it's Mike. And these are all these guys right now that I'm mentioning, these are all PRT, Paddock Racing Team. These are the guys that I race with. Under the USA Cycling registration. So right now, Paddock is leading the way. I at least know we're 6 or 7 deep right now. So we're coming in. So as you saw, we just veered off the main strand, and Larry is going around speed bumps. That's the big issue that I have with where our finish is with this donut ride, is that roughly about every 40 yards, there's a speed bump. And so, you know, here's another speed bump. Right now I'm on Mike's wheel. And I should have stayed on Mike's wheel. I should have stayed on it, but what I did right here is I guess I took advantage of an opportunity, and I moved up. If I would have stayed on Mike's wheel, and when Mike probably saw me, I think he just eased back and just let me take third wheel. So right now, as I said before, I am third wheel. I believe Mike is behind me. I'm not sure. I can't remember right now what's going on with Mike. I don't have the rear camera in my view right now, but if I do put the rear camera up with this video, you will see what went on behind me. But right now, I'm holding third wheel behind 2 very fast and strong riders. So I'm third wheel behind LT and behind Fast Freddy. And Fast Freddy is our team's senior advisor. And so right now I'm just sitting on this wheel. I believe from the video that I've seen that right now, Julius is on my wheel, Jeffrey is on his wheel, Mark is on his wheel, and I think that's it. I think that's from what I know. And Mike may be back there as well, I'm not sure. But right now, we're coming up on the sprint. It's getting very, very close. Yes, the bike path is to our right, but we're kind of cutting this turn, because again, shorter line. So right now, we're still riding in the flow of traffic, the direction of traffic, and now we're back near, again, another speed bump. We're back near and dear to the bike lane. And so, of course, we kind of come more to the right just because we're passing this truck on our left. So, yeah. So we're getting close. And Larry is doing, oh, my God. This dude is so strong. He is a mountain biker. And there's another speed bump. I'm truly amazed at how strong this guy is. So he just pulled this whole way. I mean, pretty much the whole time we pulled off the strand, he's been pulling. So then Freddie goes up, and then what Freddie does, he flips his wrist, which means your turn. So we're in the bike lane now. Now we're coming up on the sprint. There's a building on the right over here, and that's usually where the sprint starts. There you can see that building just a little bit, speed bump. So the buildings to the right, that's where the sprint normally starts, I believe. I start sprinting early because I knew that I wasn't going to have a chance to be able to have somebody come up and pull before I could go for the sprint. So I started sprinting early. And so as you saw there, we're just past the finish line. So Jules came over the top of me. Jeffrey came over the top of Jules. Mark sprinted through because he was on their wheels. And then Freddie beat me at the line. And then Larry was behind me. So there you have it. Thank you guys for watching. Please comment, like, subscribe. On to the next one with your boy, C-Dub, a.k.a. Crit Whit. Peace.